Welcome to the episode of Just to Judge a Girl, episode 4. God, it's already 4th. And it's been a week, and since I moved to somewhere else, I used to work in Seoul for about 7 to 8 months, but I moved to some suburb area of Seoul, like 1 hour, 2 hour away from the middle of Seoul. And I got deployed to that region, that neighborhood, I think that's the right way to describe it, but a different city to work a different job, completely different job. Not completely, still it is quite different to the job that I did when I was in Seoul, and it's complicated, but it's been over a month and 2 weeks already. But honestly, it's been a battle every single day, every single week. And honestly, I'm so proud of myself that I've gotten to this far. I know it's been only a month, but at the first beginning, I freaked out about big amount of responsibility and how much of knowledge that it requires for people to work here. And it required such a delicate communication skills. Like, when you look at the CVs and stuff, and they always write on their skills saying they have good communication skills. And I thought, is that necessary? Is it that, like, fine capability enough to put on your CV and resume? Is it that difficult? And yes, it is difficult, and it is really important. And of course I'm struggling, but I think I've got a grip a little bit. I'm not saying I'm nothing. It's nothing from perfect, but I'm getting a grip. And thanks to my wonderful co-workers who've been really, really supportive and really friendly. And I just can't thank enough for them to be that supportive. And if I asked them one, they would answer something out of 1, definitely. They would answer from 1 to 100, and very supportive and very warm. And yeah, I was lucky to have such amazing co-workers and my supervisor. But still, it's been a battle for me for every single day, every single week. I learn new things every day, and I sometimes freak out every week, once in a week. It's not a freak out that you want to cry or you have as much as you have a mental breakdown, but it is definitely something as much as freaking out, because it's something that you've never studied or you've never learned, because you are literally a beginner. And because I have such a big responsibility, I freak out, because if I fuck this up, then I'm the one who's gonna get blamed. And I don't mind getting blamed, because I can recover that, but I'm just very worried about how it will influence my company and my supervisor when I fucked up. And that fear is as much as because I sometimes dream about me working in the office, and I can clearly imagine, I can clearly depict that specific circumstance. That screen, the two screens are in front of you, the modeling and the floor plan, whatever that is, and it's so detailed. That dream, that image is so detailed that you know those kind of dreams, that it's because it's so detailed, and it almost feels like it's real, and it ends up with you getting up in the middle of sleep because it's so real and it's so scary. Like, realistically scary. It's not like goosebumps scary. It is goosebumps scary, to be honest. I sometimes dream about me making mistakes, and huge mistake that, as much as it will influence my dignity, my supervisor, like yelling at me, those kind of things. That big mistake. And I sometimes dream about that. And that's how much I'm really worried and genuinely feeling that huge amount of responsibility. It's not like I'm stressed. It's different to stress, because I think to me stress is very emotional. Stress is something that will break you. It's something that will make you feel very unmotivated to do anything. It's something that will crash you. But this isn't stress. It's more like responsibility. It's more like fear of making mistakes or fear of not making it right. Yeah, I feel that every day, every single day. But it's not as much as it stresses me or it breaks me or crushes me. I think it's a healthy stress. Okay, let's call it stress, but in a good way. You know, you kind of hear those kind of concepts by scholars or famous people saying you need a good stress, which will motivate you, which will teach you your guideline of your life. You know, like you need a bit of stress when you want to feel when you want to get motivated. You know, like you wouldn't want to improve yourself if you wouldn't want to cultivate that skill if you're not stressed about certain things, or if you're not envious about such people or such skills. You will never improve because you don't feel anything. You don't feel like you have to improve, or you don't have to, you know. And I think I'm really growing. I've grown so much during 1 month and 2 weeks a period in this new job, and I'm really, really proud of it. I don't know why I get to this topic, but anyways, I think it could be related to today's topic, actually. So I've been thinking about this week's concept, this week's topic to talk about in my podcast, which I do every day. And the reason why I came up with this topic, which is called My Journey of Failures and What I've Learned from Those Failures, is because currently I'm reading a book called Let Them Theory. I'm sure that a lot of people who's listening to this podcast will recognize this concept. Like, it's by a brilliant entrepreneur and a public speaker called robbins. Everybody knows her, like, it's all over YouTube, and she has one of the world's famous podcasts in the world, maybe in the US, but still she's like on the rank like 4th, 3rd of the world's famous podcast on Apple Podcast. So I knew her. I think the reason I got to know her is because I saw her on the Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast, or what was it? So basically, I'm really into those self-improvement, self-investment podcasts, which is like Jay Shetty's On Purpose, and I can't believe I forgot the name of the podcast. The by Chris Williamson. I forgot it. Oh, Modern Wisdom, and Diary of CEO by I forgot his name. Something like that. So anyways, I'm really into those podcasts. I'm into those podcasts that teaches you some lessons about life, business, and self-improvement, etc. And I think I've seen her in one of those podcasts, and I really, really loved her concept of let them. Like, it is a magic spell that makes you feel like it'll be fine. You'll get through this. So anyways, because I loved her speaking, and I was very aware of her let them theory, and I loved it so much. So I eventually ended up reading the book, which is the Let Them Theory. And ultimately, I really loved it. I loved it so much as me choosing this topic. It it doesn't seem like there's a connection between the concept of let them theory and my topic, which is my journey of failure. Actually, the reason I chose this topic is because when I was reading the book, I really the more than the concept of let them theory, I was more in love with the fact that she was brutally honest about her mistakes and how crappy things that she has done as a parent, as a friend. And she just said that she basically everything she said was that I'm human and I did crappy things because I'm human. Nobody's perfect. I've done these mistakes and I've been crappy parent or friend, whatever that is, a wife. But still, I'm still on the journey of trying to let them. And I'm still like working on myself to improve it. And I'm really regretting about my past, but I got through this. And I'm far away from perfect, but I'm still improving and I'm working on it. And you wouldn't believe how authentic she was on that book. Like, she wrote anecdote about her jealousy. She wrote anecdote about her being bad parent, temporarily, of course. She sounded amazing parent, to be honest. But still, everyone isn't perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. And so anyways, she was so authentic and brutally honest about herself, as much as me looking back to my mistakes and my failures. And I thought the first step of improving yourself was to acknowledging your failures, acknowledging your mistakes, failures first, and be authentic about it, not just by avoiding it or hiding it, because it's really uncool. And I just loved her attitude towards her past and her mistakes and her failures. And the book depicted her processing it and getting over it and working on it so beautifully. It felt like I'm really following her journey. I'm really following her life. The last 15-16 years that she's been working her ass off. And I felt really thankful that I got to follow her amazing journey, the trajectory of her failure, and ultimately she became one of the most successful public speaker in the world. So I felt like I have to acknowledge my failures and acknowledge my mistakes and be really, really honest and authentic about it. And I think because I'm not a writer, I write blogs, but it's different rather than speaking, right? I will do it. I think I will try on my blogs about this, but because it's so raw, it's so raw and naked, I think if I write it, I think I'll feel genuinely naked and so embarrassed to extent. And I thought podcast will be a great leverage to reveal it, expose it to public. And gladly, because I have this podcast, I can be really authentic and really courageous about my past and my failures that I've done. And I think after I recorded this podcast, I think I will feel really, really liberated and free and really peaceful about what I've said. And yes, it is embarrassing and it is kind of it's not gonna feel great. Come on, it'll be completely opposite to me talking about my success. But you know what? The reason I love the book, The Let Them Theory, is because like most of self-investment books, like a lot of essays, I didn't really like writers being so confident as much as you feel it like an arrogance. And I have this concept in my head about my life value, about confidence, is that I really don't want to be too humble, because if I'm too humble, I'm not going to step out of the world, revealing myself and, advertising myself to let people know that I'm here, I'm doing this stuff and I can do these things. I'm good at it, trust me, But since I'm Asian, since I'm South Korean, being humble is one of our goals. Not goals, but it is like a social norm to be humble, I would say. Yes, it is changing. Yes, it is changing. I think it has changed through my teenage life, and compared to right now, like 10 years later, things have changed, but still, being too arrogant, being too proud, being too confident, it is quite far away from the social norm here in South Korea. And I think the reason I chose this podcast fully on English or fully in Japanese is because I really wanted to see that identity transition of me, because I know that I can be really expressive and communicative and cooperative when I speak English more than Korean, because I think I used to get a bit of it, not used to get, but right now, still not right now. I tend to get a bit timid and a bit small when I was talking to Korean. Yes, I'm the same same person, but still, language changes you. It really does. Anyways, so because I hated those kind of confidence as much as it seems like arrogant. So I have this really important life value about confidence, which is, yes, you can be confident, and it's really amazing and nice to be confident. Can be a key to success, but I really don't want it to be as much as arrogance, because I always hated those kind of people. So anyway, because her book was so very different to the books that I read about self-investment, because she was brutally honest and really authentic about herself, about her past, her attitude, whatever that is. So I chose to be open about my failures. And so I wrote down on my note app about big failures I can think of right now. And it kind of there was like 5 of them, like big ones as much as you can remember very clearly. And I want to talk through it. So first one, do you know one of those UN debates, UN conference things that is on YouTube, and it happens in Switzerland, kind of, because they headquarters in the Switzerland, whatever that is. So basically, when I was 16, 17, when I was a high school student, I think I was first grade, definitely. So when I was first grade of high school, I stumbled upon a advertisement saying there's going to be a mock UN conference things, debate things, which going to open in Jeju Island. They're going to they're going to invite high school students who's going to have those debates in a big debate hall, like conference hall, sorry. And I thought, I was like, perfect, I sit here, I can win this thing, because I was so confident about my English skills, and I thought I was smart. And that thought, it only existed for a few days. So basically, I just had forgotten that there's a neighborhood full of international schools in Jeju Island, like full. The city's name is called English International School City. Literally, if you translate it, it means like that, International School City. And they had a huge project on Jeju Island of building multiple international schools, like prestigious international schools from Britain, from Canada, from Australia, all in Jeju, all in one city. And I'd forgotten about that. And because I was so confident, the reason I was so confident is because when I was in high school, I was one of the students who were really, really good at English speaking, specifically. I'm really not good at grammar or, just studying English. I'm really crappy at that. I'm really crap at that. But still, I thought my English is perfect. I can kill everyone. I can kill those students with my English skills. But as soon as I arrived, I was shocked about the international school kids of their English skills. Like, oh my God, I guarantee you they speak better than native speakers. They speak like native speakers could be better than native speakers. And I was completely blown away of their English skills. Like, they had perfect pronunciation, they had perfect grammar, and they sounded so like grown-ups. Remember, I was still 16. And I just couldn't believe there were a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds, and they're talking about politics, they're talking about world dynamic, or they're talking about how we're going to deal with refugees. Again, they're 16, and they're speaking like Americans or Canadians, native speakers, basically. And I was torn apart, basically, like literally, because that firm belief that I'm the great speaker and I'm one of the best in my school completely broke down. And during I think the event was like 3 days process. God, that was long. And through that conference, I barely spoke anything. Because in order to speak, you had to go in front of you had to go in front of the stage, and you have to you have to grab a mic and say things like officially, very skillfully. And I think I've done that. I've done speeches like that like 2 times. One could be once, because I was so embarrassed about my English skills. I was so embarrassed about my arrogance towards English, because I thought I was really good. It's so embarrassing. And again, like, even though your English is good, right? But still, talking about politics, refugees, world dynamics, even in my native speaker, I can't. Like, maybe I can kind of follow it. Maybe I can understand a bit, but it's really hard to talk about it and articulate your opinion, because it requires such knowledge. It requires such interest in those topics. But again, until I became 27, I had no interest on politics, especially on, like, I don't remember the topic they were talking about. I think it was around refugee. Anyway, so I freaked out, and I was completely blown away about the kids from international schools speaking like native speakers, and they know everything. It just felt like they were the gods, basically. And I remember that was the first brutal moment of me learning how to be humble about your skills, because English was one of the very rare skills that I can be confident, when I was 16. It was one of the rare it was one of the rare talents. I wasn't good at singing, or I wasn't good at I was okay with drawings, but I was far away from professional. It was something that I can sporadically say that maybe I'm okay with it. Like, even now, I never say I'm good at it anyways. So that was the breaking point, to be humble wherever you are, or no matter how well you're doing it, still somebody is gonna crush you with the same ability. And as a 16-year-old, that was a big moment of learning how to be humble and learning how to be really consistent with your study and never get arrogant with your skills, because you like learning it, especially language, never stops. It's gonna be a lifelong journey. So that was the first one. And secondly, this is very private. This is very personal, but I know nobody asked me, but since it's my podcast and it's an episode about my journey of failures, the second one is being dumped by my first love. And I think... So I met my first love when I was 17, and God, I was madly in love. I was madly in love. You know, what first love does to teenagers, it really destroys you emotionally. I remember I was madly in love, and I think to me he was like my world. He was really what my world. If he's happy, I'm happy. If he's sad, I'm sad. If he wants to do something that I can move on earth and the moon for him, it really was like that. And I've done a lot of stupid things that a teenager madly in love, falling in love would do. And honestly, I can't specifically think of like specific things I've done. But still, like, I just remember that emotional wave of falling in love, because his love was inconsistent. He wasn't supportive. He wasn't a good partner. He wasn't a good boyfriend. Yes, we were officially in a relationship, but I think he wasn't emotionally available to be loved or give love to somebody else. So I was always chasing. Even though he's my boyfriend, I remember I kept chasing on him, and I kept on like sacrificing my time and my effort to be around him. Again, he's my boyfriend. And that's the sad part. Like, why do you have to chase that person? Why do you have to sacrifice everything? Why do you have to always beg for love and attention, even though they're the boyfriend? So I remember that. And he influenced my romantic relationship for a very long time. And I wouldn't say that I regret meeting him, but because I've learned how to be... It's really hard to articulate, but I'm just thankful that he gave me those memories. You know, like young love, it's stupid, but still, it's worth a try. Those kind of love is something that you can't experience when you're not 17, you know. I'm 27 now, and I don't think I can do that kind of love again, ever, because I am old enough to like calculate things that will not benefit me, or you know, because you realize that love isn't everything. Love isn't going to figure out everything. Yes, you will love him or you love her, but still it's not going to resolve anything. It's not everything. And now I will think more about compatibility and emotionally available person, and I'll consider about marriage inevitably at this age. But I think it was a moment when I was just, you know, unforgettably, madly and unstoppably in love. And I'm so thankful that I had this kind of burning love 7-year-old. Now, because time has passed, I clearly understand while Romeo and Juliet were like 13 or 14. Oh, they're like 14 or 15. Anyways, they're teenagers basically. And I clearly relate to the first love and the madly love teenage couples like committing suicide and doing those stupid things, you know? It's not like I would be one of those couples. I'm not saying that, but I can totally relate how stupid and idiot you become when you madly love as a teenager, and especially if it's first love. So, but again, I'm so thankful that I experienced it when I was 17, because it's something that we'll never able to experience when you reach certain age. So I'm thankful of that. But the reason I'm calling it failure is because I was brutally dumped by him, and I wasn't able to get out of that breakup. I wasn't able to completely get over that breakup for a very long time, and it influenced my romantic relationship very long time. And I often say to like teenagers, like if I ever get a chance to talk to him, I sometimes say like your first boyfriend really matters. Sometimes it's gonna determine, like, not everyone, but there's a high possibility that's gonna determine your love life. And it took me a while to get over it, and yeah, that's why I called it failure. And the third one is uni. And when I was in high school, I really loved maths and science, especially maths and physics. And but because you liked it doesn't mean you'll be good at it. It doesn't correspond 100%. I worked on it so much. I remember I was very thrilled. I was really happy when I was solving math problem or physics problem. I remember I was really thrilled and really happy if I was able to ultimately solve it. And like that, I naturally thought of being an engineer. I naturally thought of going to engineering school, especially electrical engineering department. So I naturally thought I will get into that department, and I'll be an engineer like my dad. And turns out my maths and science grade wasn't good, and I failed to 6 or 7 universities that I applied, all in electrical engineering school, and I failed to get into that university that I applied. And I feel like I really want to get into university. I don't want to retry again, because it's gonna take one year, right? And I don't want to waste my time on that. So I ended up in architecture department, and since it's been almost 10 years since I chose to go to architecture department, I am genuinely thankful that I made that choice. I'm genuinely thankful I didn't go to engineering school, because now I'm working in kind of engineer part. No, it's different. But it is definitely far from the original architecture designing job. It's not boring, but it requires some knowledge and requires a lot of brain work. And it's same with architecture. It also does require a lot of brain work and everything. It is really draining sometimes, but it's different kind of draining, you know. And because I loved the architecture school, and it completely changed my life, and I'm really thankful that I even tried it, that I even got into university architecture. I'm really thankful about that failure, actually. So, fourth is that I used to get into the English study group when I first got into university, first grade. First thing I did was looking for an English study group because I wanted to cultivate my English skills, and I was so eager to find a new connection regarding English, because university means new connection, and if that new connection is related to your favorite hobby, it's amazing, So I searched for that, and I got into the specific English study group, and I'm still very friend with them after 8 years, and they're one of my favorite people. They're one of my favorite persons, and they are really, really supportive, and yeah, they are really, really important people in my life. So I got in there, and I think I studied there for like 6 months, could be longer, but I took a break about 1 year from university, and I came back, and then I found out the last leader kind of destroyed everything. He kind of destroyed everything. He just destroyed the system, and he just kind of ran away, and everything seemed like nothing. It was like 30-year-old history of English study group, but it just collapsed because of him. And I thought I really want to resuscitate this club because I loved it so much. So I tried it. Because I became a leader, and I wanted to make this study group born again, resuscitate it, and but I failed miserably. Like, I really tried to maintain it. I really tried to kind of return it to normal study group that I used to be in, but I failed. I just realized I'm a terrible leader. I'm a terrible person to be a leader. I wasn't capable of. I was 22, and so even though I tried for a couple of months, it didn't work out. A lot of people kept on saying, "Oh, I can't make it today. Like, I'm busy at uni. I have too many assignments." And at the end, because I was also a student. I also kind of fed up with the managing both lives. Being a university student versus being a leader of a study group. So I felt miserably about resuscitating the study group, and now the club is gone. Nobody's doing it. It's dead. But I remember I poured my heart, my time and effort to resuscitate the club, but again, it didn't work out. I was desperate, but I learned that because you're desperate, it doesn't mean people will be motivated by you being desperate, because obviously they're not going to be desperate because you're desperate. So I feel miserably, it's gone, and I'm so genuinely sad and sorry about not being able to make it born again, resuscitate it. Because it was a club that I loved so much, and it was one of the rare genuine connection, like genuine. It wasn't like office-like, it wasn't like business-like. They were really friends. They were real connections, really good ones, which still influences my life and my, life in general. I'm still in touch with them, and sometimes some people is not going to be active on the group chat or the gathering, but it changes all the time. Like, sometimes it can be 8 people out of 11 people, it can be 2 people out of 11 people who's able to gather, but I just love the fact that we still have the connection until now, and we have the ritual to meet like at least once or twice in a year. The last time we met was on the funeral, and the second time will be next week. Actually, we're gonna meet in Busan, and we're gonna have a fun time together. We're just gonna hang out and have a drink maybe. So it became my favorite ritual of the year to hang out with them and text them, and because they're all older than me, right? They're really supportive about me struggling with work or personal life. I have a bunch of sisters and brothers to ask them about life, relationships, work. So I'm really I feel really privileged to be one of their friends, and I was so lucky to be in that group. So yeah, that was the fourth one. And the fifth is that it is also kind of personal, but I was in the office. The first job I was in, which only prolonged for 2 months. So I was an intern, and for 2 months, and after that 2 months of internship, you officially become full-time worker in that company, officially. And that company was quite notorious about bullying and kind of overworking, like literally overworking every day. So it was quite notorious. Like I think I can talk about this forever, but I'm gonna stop because it's already 40-minute long, the podcast. So I won't talk about it like in detail. But anyways, so the first job was an architecture firm, and at first I was really glad that it's gonna be my first step of being an architect, but I had to quit to save my life, to save myself. And I searched for a job. I went to job hunting for 7 months. And do you know about the job market right now? It is horrible as hell. Especially if you want to have like a, how do you call them? Good graduate work? Graduate work. You know, the first job thing. And I only have bachelor's, and anyways. So as a graduate work, it's even more tough. I saw a lot of videos about America, UK, all over the world, people from prestigious schools struggling to get a job, to get a graduate work, and it's same in Korea, and it took me 7 months to get this job, but it wasn't a exact job that I wanted, which is an architect design. It is kind of different. It is related to architect, but it's not purely architect design. But again, I'm just so happy, and I felt so thankful that I got this job again after 7 months of struggling and shit show, basically. So yeah. Talking about these 5 things, the 5 failures in my life, the more I talk about it, I just realize that life really doesn't go the way I really want, does it? No, they don't. They never do. If it did, I don't know, it means you're really lucky or you're perfect, which is kind of impossible. But anyways, yeah, life really doesn't go the way I want, does it? But the thing that I felt really happy is that all 5 of the failures made myself right now, which I'm really proud right now. It took me a while to say that I'm proud of myself to someone or to myself. It took me a while to acknowledge that, to be able to say that proudly. And but now I think I can kind of say that I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself coming to this far, and I'm doing the work, and I'm getting paid with my work. I'm getting paid with my knowledge, and I feel very lucky and very privileged about my life right now. And through these failures, I learned so many stuff. Like first one, it really woke me up about me of working on English forever. Never be confident with English skills, because there's millions of people who's better than you. But it doesn't mean that you're crap. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean you're not enough. It's just that you're just a normal being who have to be consistent with your studies, and it's just a human being that you have to work on yourself. And if you keep working on yourself, if you keep being consistent, then who knows? You'll meet someone that you really wanted to be someday. To be a person that you always dreamt of for decades. Someday you'll meet her and say, "Hi, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you've gone this far. I'm so happy that you didn't quit. You didn't the fact that you kept on trying. I'm so glad that you still did it." So that's what I felt. And the second one is being dumped by your first love. Who cares? Like, they're their first love. They're meant to break your heart. And again, if I hadn't met him, I wouldn't know the kind of teenage burning love forever. And I think I learned how to be loved, and I learned how to love someone via this relationship. And third one is that, God, I'll be a horrible engineer, you know? I'll be a horrible engineer. I'm so glad, and I'm so happy that I got to the learning architecture, which is an amazing job, which is still my dream job, which I'm still working on it. I feel so lucky that I've gone to this journey. And fourth, I learned I'm a horrible leader, but I learned that I can be an amazing follower. I can be an amazing supporter. And at least I tried. At least I did something that nobody wanted to do. I did something that nobody was willing to do, or nobody was trying to do. I tried, at least. And I feel like we should more cherish people who are trying, not the successes, not the people who became successful. I think I always want a society who claps to people who will always try, even though someone says you shouldn't do that. And work, well, yes, you want to be an architect design, but I know the job I'm doing right now is gonna help me 100% in the future. I know it's gonna help me 100%. And I think if you want to do something, what you want to do, like, I really love this quote, which is, if you want to do one thing, if you want to do one thing, then you should be able to do some 99 of things that you don't want to do. And I know I'm in the journey of doing that 99 of things that I don't want to do, in order to accomplish and be able to do that one specific goal, one specific thing that you wanted to do in the future. And I know it's going to be a long journey, a tiring one, but I know it's going to help me to, it's going to be one of the 99 things that's things that I don't want to do, but will lead to me to that one job that I want to do. So yeah, talking about these failures, I just realised that all the failures was my teachers, and I know it's going to help me. And after 10 years, I'll be thanking myself of not quitting, still following, still working on it, no matter what people say, no matter what is showing on statistics. So I'm really looking forward to the future as well, the future failures, the future successes in my life. So yeah, actually this episode was quite therapeutic. It really was. I felt like I was my own therapist, and I'm me talking endlessly, and I was my own therapist. It was really therapeutic, and I learned a lot of things about my failures was my teachers, and I know I'm doing something that's gonna help me to meet my future self that I've been dreaming about. And I really hope after becoming that person, after I hear this podcast, I would say, poor girl. But I'm proud of yourself, you know? So yeah, this is the end of the podcast. God, this was the longest podcast I ever did. And thank you so much. If you have listened to this far, I'm so thankful that you listened to this all the way. And I'm really curious about your failures as well, and what taught you from that failures. And I just remembered that there's a famous quote in Korea saying, "There's no failures, it's just learning. You're just learning." So yeah. So right, I should go to bed, and thank you so much for listening again. I hope we can see you next week. Okay? Bye.